Yeah.
Oh, we're in.
Oh,
Do we have microphones?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the second time to the Journey to Un'Goro card reveal live stream. My name is Sean Day9 Plot. I still am a mediocre Hearthstone player. To my right is Senior Game Designer Peter Whalen. How are you, Peter?
I'm doing pretty well. I get to hang out with Day9. It's pretty cool. I just told this whole story about how all my friends show me their selfies of them with Day9. Now I get basically a selfie here, except everybody else is taking the pictures. It's pretty cool. I'm excited.
And hearing you say it twice still feels great.
That's good. That's good. I just need to get you excited for Journey to Un'Goro. This is going to be pretty cool.
Well, I want to ask right off the bat, what is it that you do as a senior game designer? Because I know there's a lot of different moving parts to Hearthstone. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of pieces of design on the team. So I'm one of the initial designers. So I work on the set from the beginning basically until the very last day.
Yeah.
So the first thing that we do is we figure out where are you going to go, and here we said we're going to Dino Land. What's the coolest place with the biggest creatures in Azeroth? It's Un'Goro Crater. So we decided dinosaurs, it's going to be awesome. Let's go and explore this crazy world. Let's see all these elementals. Let's get some explorers in here. And then we figured out what the mechanics were going to be, and then we hand off the set to Final Design, who does the last tuning pass. They make sure that the cards are fun, that they're fair, that the decks are interesting, and that there's some good stuff going on.
So Final Design is like, we're going to play a whole bunch of games against what we think will be top decks, against the old top decks, see how the cards are performing and adjust it from there.
Yep.
That's not, I mean, it's not that you don't touch that, but that's not your focus as much as the initial design of the set.
Yep. Initial Design also plays lots of games, not nearly as many as Final Design.
Certainly,
but generally when we play games, we just put all the cards in the set into a deck and then play them against each other to see what's fun, what cards are interesting. Like, oh, was this interesting to build a deck around? Is this cool? Is this interesting? We've got quests in the set. Are each of the quests fun decks to play and to inspire new creative things? Can you build them in multiple ways? That's the kind of thing Initial Design is interested in.
Yeah, and for that reason, a lot of the focus of today is simply going to be on revealing new cards. I mean, obviously we'll talk a little bit about multiplayer, how that the decks might change in the metagame and this and that, but really, we're here to see some new cards.
Yeah, we've got 11 new cards to share. We're pretty excited. There's some good stuff.
With like 3-ish tokens, I think you called them, and I'm used to tokens being vanilla 1/1s, but
we got some good tokens. Okay. We'll see.
So, without any further ado, let us journey to the very first card that will be revealed. Now, before we do this, I want you to know, I have seen none of the cards. I know nothing. I only know the words dinosaurs. And of course, I've seen the adapt mechanic elementals and quests. I know the basics, but for me, this is a front row seat. So without any further ado, let's do it. Production, cue away. All right. Explore Un'Goro. Replace your deck with copies of Discover a Card. Now, how exactly does this work?
So you cast the spell, and your whole deck just becomes Choose a Path. And it's this really cute card with an explorer picking which way she's going to go, and they're all just 1 mana, Discover a Card. So your whole deck at that point is just, it's like the Tavern Brawl that we did.
Wait, so is this like a deck full of Raven Idols?
It is a deck full of Raven Idols.
And I mean, I assume this is in line with things like Renounce Darkness that maybe aren't really going to be the championship style decks, but if you can get one card to give you access to all the cards, you get Explore Un'Goro.
You get Explore Un'Goro, and it's a lot of fun. And one of the coolest things about this, that piece of art was the style guide. That was actually the thing that inspired, we sent it out to all of the external artists, everybody who's worked on the set. It was like one of the very first pieces that said, this is what Hearthstone Un'Goro means. I love it. It's one of my absolute favorites.
I love the cutesiness of the dinosaur. Actually, can we go back to the starting soon screen? Because there's a very important dinosaur that I think is critical. See, look at the Tyrannosaurus Rex at the very top, just like, show me the cards! This is like everyone in chat right now who just wants me to stop talking about the dinosaur. That dinosaur is peeking over like every single piece of art if you look at it. It's awesome. Now coming back to the card that we just saw.
Yeah.
What is it about these kinds of cards that excite you to design or include in the set?
Things like Explore Un'Goro or Renounce Darkness. There's a class of player that really just wants a very different game experience every time. And it just says, okay, I don't need to be competitive. I don't have to win. I just want to do things that are fun, that I enjoy. And so Explore Un'Goro, Renounced Darkness are in that space of just give me a different play experience every time. Let me feel competitive, but
Yeah.
I don't really want to stress about building my deck. I don't want to stress about winning. I just want to do crazy stuff
So-
and make cool things happen.
So considering that this is in Warrior, Warrior has all the delay tools with gaining armor.
Yep.
And then their treat is they get to just throw that all out the window.
Yeah, for sure. And they just get to find a crazy new way to go. Because Discover weights your class cards much higher, it's actually pretty interesting in Warrior because there's some cool
yeah.
choices you can make. We've also seen people try Explore Un'Goro internally with Gadget Sand Auctioneer because your whole deck is just 1 mana spells. So you can do some really crazy things with that.
Huh.
It's actually pretty fun.
Well, I think that in line with some of the first reveals in every set being some of the sillier cards.
This is one of our sillier ones.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at the second card. Now, once again, I haven't seen any of the cards. I did briefly glance when, things were getting prepped this morning. Saw there was a rogue card that was out there.
Yep, we're going to have rogue cards in Journey to Un'Goro.
I'm sorry, I found that very, very funny. Tortolan Shellraiser. It's a 4-mana 2/6 with Taunt, Death Rattle. Give a friendly random minion +1/+1. This seems, again, like sort of in the theme of just having solid value cards. Like, I mean, especially in the 4-stat range, seems very nice for Priest.
Yeah, one of the cards we revealed in the initial announcement was the Priest Quest. And quests are one of the powerful new things
that's
in Journey
right.
to
Yeah,
Un'Goro.
yeah.
And the Priest Quest asks you to play a bunch of Death Rattle minions. And so historically, those decks have used N'Zoth
Yeah.
to bring a bunch of Death Rattle minions back.
Yeah.
And one of the things N'Zoth decks have struggled with is having taunt minions to bring back so their N'Zoth is super powerful.
Yeah,
Because
right.
you play N'Zoth, it's a little bit, there's a chance that you just die to whatever your opponent's board
Yeah.
was. So you need powerful taunt minions. And so to make the Priest the Priest Death Rattle deck a little more powerful,
Yeah.
that's one of this guy's purposes. But he also he buys you time in a Priest deck.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of Priest decks, like especially the Dragon Priest decks right now, that have lots of minions on the board early, and this seems like a pretty reasonable tool to have in some of those that is not necessarily as Dragon focused.
Yeah, we're losing a lot of those on-curve minions in Priest in the standard format with Ear of the Mammoth.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have some of those Dragon guys. The Priest Death Rattle deck often plays out a little differently than that, and it's nice to have a turn 4 play that you can just say, okay, I'm going to put this on the board. Because he has Taunt, his Death Rattle often actually benefits one of your guys.
Yeah.
Some of the previous Priest cards, they'll kill your guy that says Death Rattle, give a minion +3 health, and they'll kill your other minions first. And so
Right.
this guy has Taunt, it makes it harder to do that.
I mean, how much of that is a discussion when you first start working on the set? The idea of what's going to get rotated out, therefore what needs to get slotted back in? Because how long have you been working on Journey to Un'Goro right now?
Oh man, a long time. We sort of locked in on, we're going to do dinosaurs and elementals and bring Elise back.
Yeah.
And the Whispers of the Old Gods launch party, so around that time frame, it's almost
That
a
was
year
like
now.
11 months, 12 months ago, yeah.
That's a long time. It's been fun. We're really excited about it.
Well, cool. Let's take a look at card number 3. Now, I just want to state, for the record, I have a huge bias. I want something that focuses on the ramp druid. So I'm excited.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, 1 mana, Lakari Sacrifice. This is the second quest card we've seen. The previous Priest quest card was revealed when Journey to Un'Goro was announced, but this is discard 6 cards, reward Nether Portal. This has a bit of an Astral communion-y feel to it, right? Just like if you can chuck enough cards out of your hand, you should get something amazing, which leads me to ask, what's Nether Portal do?
It's a good question.
Wow, nice timing. Woo! Open a permanent portal that summons 3/2 imps. Now, is this an enchantment style thing, like what we've seen in some of the Tavern Brawls or in some of the quests?
It's very
solo adventures.
Yeah, it's very similar to the portals from the Netherspite encounter. They're very, very permanent. It's
Like untargetably permanent.
They're untargetably permanent. Even in testing, the only way I know to get rid of one of them is to concede the game and start over. So they're pretty hard to get rid of. I know when our engineers were trying this out and like testing a bunch of things with it, it was actually kind of irritating for them because they can't get rid of it any other way because they just have to concede and start a new game when you have 7 of these on the board or whatever. But as far as actual gameplay goes, you cannot get rid of it. This is just going to make your life better for the rest of the game.
Okay, now this is great because this is exactly what I'm interested in figuring out how this works. So at this point, 4 cards have been discarded, 2 more get discarded.
Yep, it ticks up.
All right,
There we go.
And this is the beautiful popping of the Quest Nether Portal. And oh, look at that. It is almost as though this was a pre-recorded video with the exact correct mana cost. So the portal does take up a space
Yep,
on the board,
it does.
but this is a
And
sickeningly good control card. This is what I always dreamed Justicar True Heart would be for Paladin. Just an endless army of little guys.
yeah, it's pretty cool. You can build that deck a couple of different ways, right? The discard decks have historically been a little more aggressive, and so you can play this at the end and get a bunch of value out of it to power your end
yeah.
game. Or you can play more of a controlling route. The discarding cards have not historically lent themselves to a more controlling archetype,
Right.
but we're adding some more cards in Journey to Ungoro that might help with that.
Oh, look at that smooth transition. Lakari Fellhound Taunt, discard 2 random cards. Wow, a 3/8 with Taunt for 4. Huh. You know, I kind of want to stop for a moment and note that we've seen just 4 cards so far.
Yep.
First one, goofy fun, right?
Goofy fun.
And then we have 3 cards that we've seen that feel like they can fit in some relatively reasonable decks. And something that always makes predicting how cards will function difficult is, like when I'm looking at Lakari Fellhound, I'm responding to the current meta. I'm saying
Right.
things like, oh, there have been a lot of aggressive decks. Obviously, the Pirate Warrior was hugely stressful for people until the Small-Time Buccaneer was nerfed from a
Yep.
3/2 to a 3/1. And
Conditionally.
it's a 3/1. Yeah, so when I see the Lakari Fellhound, I go, oh, this is a perfect answer for those types of pirate decks, but I don't even know what the meta for Journey to Ungoro is like, and you've gotten the chance to play it for many, many months now. How do you evaluate a card like this?
Yeah, so we've played a lot of games with it. It kind of depends on how the metagame evolves. We can only play, we play hundreds, thousands of games, but even on the first day, our players are going to play millions of games and figure out lots and lots of things.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know exactly what's going to happen, but yeah, this is a very good card in against some of the more aggressive decks. A 3/8 Taunt for 4 mana, that's a pretty big body. That's Ascension
Yeah.
Shieldmaster plus a Power Word Shield plus a little bit extra.
Oh no, it's Ascension Shieldmaster plus the Shield Bearer.
Pretty close, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have a personal affection for Shield Bearer because I keep trying to make the hand buff Paladin work. I just
yeah.
keep trying, and if you put in Shield Bearers and get a 1 mana 2/6 sometimes,
good.
makes you feel pretty cool. You still get stuck at rank 10, but you're a cool guy at rank 10.
And you can't fall back behind rank 10, so it's great. Can't lose stars at this rank. It's fantastic.
If we can take a look back at the Warlock Quest card again, I think something that's really interesting about the Quest is that they're always in your hand on turn 1.
They are. They're the leftmost card in your mulligan.
And wait, can you mulligan it?
Yep.
Huh.
If you think that for this matchup you don't need the quest immediately,
Oh, interesting.
you're welcome to mulligan it away.
Wow. Yeah, because I think that this is a really interesting struggle that I feel like has existed in some control decks where there are certain power cards that you just want early. I think most notably like Control Warrior really just wants that Justicar True Heart early to get infinite armor.
Sure. Or a Fiery War Axe, or yes.
Well, no, he always has the Fiery War Axe. Right?
Okay, fair
that goes without saying. That is the leftmost card
In
currently
Warrior's
in the
own
current
variant.
iteration.
Of course.
Is my sense of it as someone who doesn't play Warrior very much. But I mean, these types of things feel like since you always start with it, there's a much higher probability of them triggering in practice.
Yeah, for sure. We iterated a lot. Initially, we didn't want to have them start in your opening hand because it's
Right.
just an extra rule. The more rules you have, I mean, that's not all upside.
Yeah.
So cutting rules is great, but in practice, we really wanted to be able to show to your opponents that your quest was ticking up. So we wanted you needed them to be in play. Your opponent needs to see them. You need to feel like you're going on this quest, and then once we did that, you had to start with them in your opening hand so that they'd actually happen.
And I just personally, I love the idea that when you see the existence of a quest, it happens right at the start of the game. And I
Yep.
think that's one of the hardest things to get used to when playing Hearthstone. What the hell is the meta?
Yep.
What are all these decks if I've never played? What am I trying to prepare for? And having it come out on turn 1, I think, is really nice. I mean, have you found this in playtesting for people who?
Yeah, we've played a bunch of games with Quest, especially with newer players, and it's nice to be able to message, this is my game plan. This is what I'm going to be trying to do this game. I've got alternate game plans maybe, but
Right.
I care a lot about getting a Nether portal on the board. I'm going to discard some cards.
Oh, that is cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next card. I should say the next card. This is a mage card. Arcanologist. Battle Cry. Draw a secret from your deck. Draw. Draw a secret from your deck, not play a secret.
It's not Mad Scientist.
This piques my interest because, I mean, now I want to stop and ask, aren't a lot of the big tempo mage cards leaving?
Yep, we're losing Flamewaker is going to
most
Wild.
importantly. Yeah.
That's sort of the biggest one, but
Azure Drake.
Hazard Drake is going to Wild as well. So yeah, we've seen some of the secret synergy cards that have come in in Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. So this is another card in that vein. Secrets aren't a big piece of the Journey to Un'Goro, but we like having a couple of these cards that kind of help out with minor themes and that just make your mage decks a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this gives a really clear mulliganing strategy where you can start to run Kirin Tor mages and Arcanologists and just get them in your opening hand, because I think that's always been the biggest struggle.
Yeah.
Is how do you mulligan in those secret-heavy decks? Because mage secrets are just so expensive.
Yep. Yeah, one of the things I like about drawing a secret from your deck rather than putting it in play is that it means that you get to time when you actually put out the secret. So you can say, okay, I've got Counterspell, I'm going to wait for them to need to play Anything Can Happen, or whatever their super powerful spell is.
Right.
Explore Un'Goro, maybe, so that I can counter it. Or similarly with Mirror Entity or whatever.
Okay, I just want to ask, can you counter the quest cards?
You can't.
Oh man, that's awesome.
You can. We've seen that happen once or twice. Somebody will play a Cabal Lackey going first and then put out a counterspell, and your opponent's a little hesitant about trying out their quest. Granted, they have the coin because they went second, so they can check for counterspell, but still.
Yeah, I mean, this really interests me, especially when thinking about the fact that the Tempo Mage cards are popping out, because I find it so hard to predict how the meta is going to look, and I mean, it's always deeply inaccurate. But in the experiments I've done with these secret decks, it was a little spiky. It was like a little feast or famine. Sometimes you'd get Cabal Lackey, Kirin Tor Mage, Ethereal Arcanist, perfect combo.
Yep.
And sometimes you would just draw 10 secrets and cry deeply into a pillow.
Yes. Yes. Personally, I'm not sure Arcanologist is going to go into a deck with lots and lots and lots of secrets, but maybe like the old Mad Scientist decks, you've got 2 or 3 that are interesting, and this is kind of an extra couple copies of them.
Oh yeah, it's just a free draw if you're still doing some sort of Kazakus mage.
Sure.
Because I guess they're not Reno mages anymore, because
No,
Reno's gone.
they're Kazakus now.
Man.
Yeah, and Wild. You got your Reno mage.
This is a very nice, simple, flexible card.
Yeah, so she's one of the explorers that's hanging out in Un'Goro. And why are all of these explorers here? Who's leading them?
Who is it,
Trailblazer.
Peter? Ah, there
Yeah.
it is. So shuffle a sealed Un'Goro pack into your deck. What?
Yeah. So one of our producers spoke about this card a week ago and said, when you see it, you're just going to say, wait, what? Can they do that? So it turns out, yes, we can do that.
So did you just take Hearthstone and just fold the tech together?
A little bit. I love that animation when she comes out. So there's the Un'Goro pack. It's got shuffled into your deck.
All right. Because we run good, we know exactly what to draw. We have the Thistle Tea to help for consistency of the example. Add 5 Journey to Un'Goro cards to your hand.
So Un'Goro pack. You open it up. And so there you go.
So, I mean, is this... I never know how to think of these kinds of cards where there is both a lot of value in that you're taking 1 card and you're getting 5 cards out of it, but there's also a heavy amount of randomness and unpredictability to it.
Yeah, so we actually played a lot of games with Elise with this Un'Goro pack.
Yeah.
And one of the things we found out is that an Un'Goro pack is actually kind of weak in the context of a game. So Elise is really lucky. The Un'Goro pack that you get from Elise is very, very good relative to a normal pack. You get about one legendary on average, and you got a pretty good chance. You're always guaranteed at least an epic. You saw that pack; it wasn't super unusual. There were a couple of legendaries in there.
Wait, can we go back and look at the pack, or are those
Sure.
cards going to get revealed? Can we? All right, we're going to go back and look because it just occurred to me that I don't think we presented all those cards that were on screen.
Yeah.
You jerk! I haven't seen this. I don't work at Blizzard. I don't know what these cards do. Okay.
Yeah.
All of production giggling. Okay, now let's be sure to pause so the outsider can take a look.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's take a
here
look
we
at these
go.
guys.
Okay. Wait. Oh no! Wait. No. Now I just see their mana costs. Wait. Can you... Okay.
We'll take a look at them.
Okay. Oh, we will. We are.
Yeah.
Oh.
So let's take a look at some of them.
Oh. Okay.
So this is the first one that we got. This one's a rare in the pack.
Golakka Crawler 2/2/3. Destroy a pirate and gain +1/+1. Oh, pirate decks. What's up? Oh my god, nice turn one play. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
And it's a crab, like the hungry crab.
Yeah. This is the hungriest crab.
Oh my gosh, I hope you have a jade crab. Oh man. I'm trying to read your reaction. Okay, whatever. So this seems less like a response to the meta and more like one of those comfortable answer type things like Big Game Hunter.
Yeah, this is one of those cards you can put in your deck if you're frustrated losing to pirates, if you've played against a lot of pirates.
Hey guys, for any of you at home who've ever been
Might
frustrated.
have lost to a pirate deck once or twice. I don't know. You can try Golakka Crawler, and you'll eat some pirates, and you'll get a 3/4. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and here's where I just want to stop and ask about design compared to competitive multiplayer balance, where, obviously there was the nerf that happened to the small-time Buccaneers, sure. But I think that there's a sort of community perception that the pirate decks were really strong, and therefore the Golakka Crawler is what came out of it. But, I mean, you said that you've been working on this. I'm so sorry. I spat onto your face.
It's all right.
That was my bad. You've been working on this for a year now. Like, how early does a card like this pop up in development?
So this one actually came pretty late. We talked about,
Okay.
We tend to leave a couple of slots for answer type cards that are just, what are the things that are really powerful? What are the things that we're concerned about?
Interesting.
And so we look at Mean Streets of Gadgetzan comes out, what are the powerful decks that come out of it? Things like Jade or like Pirates, and we say, okay, let's make sure there's some things in there that players can go to. And so Golakka Crawler is one of those things.
Okay, so there's 130, 135 cards?
135, yeah.
So, and we're only doing 11/14, depending on what it is that you see, or what it is that you consider a card. And so of those 135, when you're designing, like how many of those slots are left open for these types of answer cards?
It depends. We try to fill something into those slots. Like this guy used to just be a giant hungry crab. He ate a Murloc. He got +4/+4. He was pretty big.
Oh, okay.
He was like a 6-mana hungry
Biggest
crab.
game hunter.
The biggest
Okay.
hungry crab ever. And then we changed them around at the, sort of late in design. And so usually we try to do 2, 3, 4-ish answer cards that say these are things that can react to the metagame if it moves in a particular direction.
And what about things like quests or the adapt mechanic, which, gosh, we haven't even seen any adapt cards yet.
Nope.
Oh, look at that. Look at that smirk. Not
Actually,
yet.
I'm not sure we have any adapt cards in this one. We saw the cards that Elise showed us, so I don't remember what's in there. We'll see.
Oh, gosh. Maybe we might have to take 5, 6, even 7 looks again at that clip. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And it's good to be back. And if you missed anything we said, it will be repeated again because I have never been known to be succinct or concise. So,
Where were we?
Mr.
Pirates.
Mr. Whalen. Yeah, we were taking a look at the mega crab, whose name, of course, I don't have imbued in my memory. This is the mega crab, the Galaka crawler. And I was asking that these types of cards are very, I almost want to call them like simple, more just like flat, reasonable designs. 2 mana, 2/3, totally fine. Battle Cry, very specific counter. But with some of the big themes that exist in Un'Goro, like quests, like adapt, like elementals, how often do those wind up being potential spaces to solve existing metagame problems?
So those types of mechanics tend to drive what the new metagame will look like, but
Yeah.
they're less answers to particular things. They tend to be more proactive. So your adapt cards are
Interesting.
are in more of a proactive space where you're building a deck to take advantage of them. Your quests are, this is my game plan
Huh.
rather than I'm answering your game plan. And so it's kind of a mix of
Interesting.
things. We tend not to use that space to say we're going to solve this particular thing about the metagame, but more to say we want this metagame to be a little bit faster, a little bit slower. We
Right.
want mid-range decks to be a little bit stronger. We want aggressive decks to be a little bit weaker.
We want Astral Ramp Druid to be
to be
even
the
stronger.
best deck that there ever was.
Now, of course, I have to shamelessly ask, will there be any cards to assist the Ramp Druids out there?
Well, Druid tends to like big creatures. Dinosaurs are giant creatures, so we'll see. I don't think
So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe you'll see a dinosaur.
maybe you'll see a
Druid. It's unclear.
dinosaur. Maybe there's a lot of dinosaurs.
Unclear. If this next card is dinosaur, okay, dino size. Set a minion's attack and health to 10.
Sometimes there weren't enough dinosaurs. You get to make your own. If you just wanted the biggest Murloc ever, this guy helps you out.
This is the anti-Aldor Peacekeeper. Oh, the art literally is a huge Murloc.
It is. The golden for this is phenomenal. There's been a couple like amazing goldens. This one's great. You see the
man.
little guy, it gets huge.
Are we going to see any of those Goldens today, or are those just part of the
No,
future
I don't think so.
reveals?
We'll see
Okay.
them. We'll see them early April when we release the Journey to Un'Goro.
Now, this is the sort of card that I don't have a good sense of how to evaluate it because, I mean, I suppose this is, hey, if I'm a control paladin summoning my 1/1s, every now and again I can get 10 burst damage out of nowhere. This also seems to be something that would just make me giggle. Like, you know, the
There's some of
Timmy
that.
player archetype that just wants to
Yeah.
have huge creatures. How does Dino Size kind of fit into the gameplay?
Both of
that
those
you're seeing?
things. It's a little bit of an 8-mana 10/10 with charge because you get to play it on a minion that's already in
Yeah.
play, and so it just gets to attack. So it's a little bit of a Pyroblast in Paladin, which is a pretty powerful thing to have.
Right.
It's also very much a Timmy card, a card that is for guys who love huge dinosaurs, who love big creatures this is a huge Murloc. It makes anything you want. The biggest Silverhand recruit ever. It's just towering over the trees, striding through the forest. It can wrestle with a T-Rex.
And Thorison is also getting removed. Or is that right? No, yeah,
Thorison will be in
Mountain,
Wild, yep.
so he's getting moved out. So all of the combos that I was thinking of kind of go out the window immediately. But this seems like it would be super powerful in maybe even an anything can happen style deck, where if you have the 2/1 Murloc with charge, costs 2 mana, this
Yep.
can make it a 10/10.
Yeah, you can play it with Finja
interesting.
in sort of a Finja package, where you have him
Huh.
and you've got Bluegill Warriors. You get your Bluegill Warriors out and you Dino-Size them. It's pretty powerful. Dino-Size is a reasonable card to try out.
Interesting. And what is it about this type of design that is this an example of trying to dinosaurify each of the classes? Like, how is it that you start with dinosaurs and begin to look at each class to create a card like this?
Yeah, that's exactly where we come from. We said, all right, what are the major things in the set? Well, we have dinosaurs, we have elementals, we have exploration. So quests are kind of the exploration mechanic, and it capture this is what the world of Un'Goro looks like. You saw the tar pits, we've seen sort of the Titan ruins in the priest quest. So that's one piece of it. Elementals are in a couple of the different classes. They're priest and mage and shaman are very much elemental classes. Rogue is in more of a plant space. What are the plants of Ungoro? And then we have the other 5 are dinosaur classes.
Oh, the other 5. Oh, so it's not like Mean Streets of Gadgetzin where it was like these 3 are this guild, these 3 are this guild, these 3 are this.
Not at all. They're not strictly, this is a dinosaur class, so it won't do anything else. So there's a little bit of crossover between them. Unlike, the Cabal and the Jade Lotus, they're butting heads, so you don't have any Jade Lotus cards in Priest. But Priest could have something that goes in a different direction. Druid's a dinosaur class, but it can have some plant-type stuff.
How do you decide to slice that? Is it just whatever feels most natural for the deck with the themes? Or
Yeah, exactly. So
you have?
each of the dinosaur classes, for example, has a dinosaur that's kind of their main one. We've seen, like, Druid has the long necks, the big Brontosaurus-type dinosaurs. And so most of their dinosaurs are these big Brontosaurs.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sick.
Brontosaurs are awesome. They're huge. They fit that Druid vibe of big things. My personal favorite dinosaurs are Stegosaurs. That's paladins. They're very noble. They've got
I didn't know that the Stegosaurus was a noble dinosaur.
they're very noble. They're proud. They defend their young. They're great. Stegodons are for a perfect fit for paladins.
What about the Ankylosaurus?
So
I don't know. I know it begins with Anklia, and then there's a whole bunch of dinosaur-like words to close it out.
They're actually a little bit of a sad story. The Ankylosaurs aren't really in World of Warcraft. We have one last Ankylosaur. His name is Galvadon, and we've seen him in some of the things that we've been revealing with the videos. And he is the last Kaleidosaur. He's a Kaleidosaur because he's got these huge multicolored crystals coming out of his back.
A Kaleidosaur?
A Kaleidosaur, like a kaleidoscope. Like multicolored, you look through it. So he is a Kaleidosaur because he's got all these multicolored gemstones and crystals.
Oh, so it's like Kalei.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so he's actually an Ankylosaur. He's got the tail, the ball.
Yeah.
of the tail.
So if you like held him really close and made eye contact, and then just like swiveled his neck, would you see all sorts of brilliant colors?
I think he'd probably get eaten or clubbed. But if you could get that close, maybe, yeah.
Either way. Ankylosaurdons are tight.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Let's take a look at the next card. Sherazin, Corpse Flower. This is the rogue card that I only saw the border of. It's a 4-mana, 5/3 Death Rattle. Go dormant. Play 4 cards in a turn to revive this minion. Oh, is this a sneaky graveyard mechanic?
A little bit.
Oh my god. Okay, so dormant. Dormant is this a new keyword, or is this just
It's just
trying to be concise on words?
It's a little bit trying to be concise. It's also telling the story of what this card is. It's a it's a plant, and when it dies, it actually doesn't die. It just curls up on itself, and it turns into this little seed.
Look at him. He looks like he wasn't invited to the birthday party.
This is another adorable golden. The golden is wonderful.
He's really bummed out that you haven't played 4 cards this turn. Look at him. He's like, I'm waiting. His little plant arms are crossed.
Yeah.
Does this work? Oh, great. We have video. This hopefully will answer it. So, I still remember when innervating out a Chillwind Yeti was the scariest thing a druid could do.
Now it's integrating out in Astral Communion.
Oh gosh, isn't that sweet? Oh, so it actually works like the enchantments. Well, I don't know if
It works like the
right
permanent
word.
cards, yeah.
Yeah, the permanents.
Just like the portal. Those are, yeah, we're doing that in Journey to Ungoro. We've got 2 of them. That portal that we just saw in this guy.
Wow.
So every time it dies, it has a chance to come back.
Wow. Now, that mechanic, have you found it more successful in the aggro archetypes and the more control-ish archetypes? I mean, obviously playing 4 cards in a turn is tricky to do with any amount of consistency.
Yeah, you definitely have to build into it. You need to play cards that generate extra cards in your hand or draw lots of cards.
Yeah.
There are some rogue archetypes historically that have done some card drawing. Historically, there's been these miracle decks in Rogue that play Auctioneer and they draw lots of cards. So this can serve as another way for those decks to finish out games. Rogues historically have done a lot of I play a bunch of cards in a turn, I have a bunch of things that do very small things, but play well together. And so this is a card that plays into that kind of deck and gives them a different avenue towards victory. That's one of the things we like playing up in
Interesting.
Rogue, and also exploring some other things that Rogue can do.
Oh, it's a legendary.
It is the Rogue
Oh.
Legendary. Each of the classes has a legendary minion and a legendary quest. So this is the Rogue Legendary minion.
Wait, every class has a legendary minion and a legendary quest?
They do, yes.
Every single class has a quest.
Every single class.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, there's 9 classes. There's 9 quests.
9 quests.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay, you've excited me, Peter.
I'm glad. I'm really excited about this card.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying I will be very successful with my attempts with Sharazin, but I will be excited. Let us take a look at our next card. Still waiting for that sweet, sweet Druid card. Okay, Tar Creeper. 3 mana, 1/5 with taunt. This says has +2 attack during your opponent's turn. Oh, cool. This is a very simple way of saying we have defensive focus cards.
Yep, this is a powerful, neutral, defensive card that says you want to play some defense, here's a pretty good card for it. It's a 3 mana, 3/5 taunt if you're only interested in playing defense.
Or if you're interested in giving a free card to a Cabal Talon Priest.
For
Cabal
example.
Shadow Priest, yeah. So with this kind of card, this seems a little different than the Crawler that we saw earlier that destroys the Pirate, where that seemed more like a hard response to Pirates, and this just seems a little bit softer and more general. I mean, what are your thoughts about these kinds of lightly reactive cards?
I like these a lot. These are the kind of cards that you can put in your deck and feel pretty good every game that you draw them. If you play Galaka Crawler, for example, and your opponent's not playing Pirates, you don't have your super powerful answer card, and he's a 2 mana 2/3, which is okay, but not amazing. This card, even if you're playing against a deck that isn't trying to attack with lots of small minions, it's still a 3 mana 3/5 on defense. It can cover some of your other minions. It can do a lot of really good work for you.
And I'm curious, in terms of like the theme of coming up with Un'Goro, quests feel pretty pronounced and unique once you've established that you want that aspect in the design. But something like a Tar Creeper, is this more of a type of neutral that you wanted to have and then tried to match it to the lore, or did this sort of thing come from the lore perspective?
A mix of both. So Tar Creeper's great because he's one of the different types of elementals that we have in Un'Goro.
Oh, he's an elemental. I completely didn't even look at the
And we wanted
tribe. Yeah.
we have the fire elementals, we've got water elementals,
Sure.
but we wanted to do some different elementals that are cool in different ways.
Yeah.
Like we've got holy elementals. You have Lightspawn in Priest
Yeah.
is a holy elemental. So we also have these tar creatures that are sort of tar elementals. And so that's where Tar Creeper comes from.
And where did the idea of just +2 attack during your opponent's turn, is that again more of like a thematic thing, or is this just a, hey, we want to have more of these solid defensive conditionals?
We want to find different ways to do cards that are better on defense than on offense. For example, Zombie Chow or Mistress of Mixtures, you tended to play in more defensive decks.
Yeah.
Zombie Chow was powerful enough that it saw play in aggro decks as well, or more aggressive decks. But we want to find different ways to explore that space of saying, this is a card, I'm playing a defensive deck, let me put this in. It doesn't go in every single deck, so aggressive decks aren't as interested, but the more defensive ones are.
Yeah, it's sort of like an alternative kind of second-rate bruiser.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Secondary Bruiser is another way of exploring that space.
So I believe we have one final card.
One final card. You've been asking for giant dinosaurs?
Swamp King Dread with 1D and no A. 7 mana 9/9. After your opponent plays a minion, attack it. Oh, dude. Oh. I mean, this isn't a Druid card. I want it to be a Druid card so badly. Oh my god, that would be so sick in Druid. But that is an insane control card for Hunter.
It is a very powerful card, yes.
Wow. Because, I mean, it's more than taunt. It's an execute that eventually expires.
He's just very, very hungry. So whenever your opponent plays a minion, just bam, he goes after it. So we're actually going to see an example of that here.
Oh, look at this. Look at this sad priest. Oh, and of course, animal bites in the hand. Let's go ahead and let's use that one to finish him off next turn. Oh, there's the tar. I see the tar theme.
Yeah. He's a Swamp King.
Okay, let's see what Priest does. I hope it's
This is very sad.
Nether Spite Historian. Oh my God, that's awful!
Murloc's invading on his turf.
Oh my God, you monsters! Why'd you choose Murloc? You just, oh my God, it's a third Murloc! Who designed this and just said, you know who I want to make feel real sad? Everyone watching the stream, look at the Murloc Tiny. This is the fifth one.
The Swamp King's pretty much the bad guy.
Oh my gosh, is it gonna end? Okay, I thought, I thought there was gonna be some video editor like they don't get it. It needs to empty the entire hand. And then we still know that he has kill command in hand.
He does.
That's a
He does.
savage video. Oh my gosh, let's play it again. Let's take another look at it. I
Swamp
can't
King
believe
Dread.
it. Oh my gosh, that's appalling. Wow, goodness. I mean, I feel like there has been a continued push to introduce more potent control cards in Hunter. That seems like a tough challenge with, the Hunter hero power being so good offensively.
The Hunter hero power is good in any kind of proactive strategy. So
Yeah.
even the sort of more mid-rangey decks that can actually play, historically maybe they played a Dr. Boom, they could try something in this space that's a little bit different, that is sort of more in the flavor of Hunter, where you're saying, I'm getting board control by just having powerful minions. And this guy's very proactive. He has some counters. He's so hungry that he'll eat things like tiny thing, sad, but also things that are poisonous.
me.
If your opponent plays an Emperor Cobra, bam, he'll attack it, and then he'll die.
Oh, and you just introduced the poisonous keyword.
We did.
And we've now seen 14 of the 135 cards, or excuse me, I guess it would be 18 of the 135 cards.
So the token cards that we showed don't really count for the 135. So we've only showed 11 here, and then the 4 from the initial video. So that's 15 of the 135.
Oh, poisonous. Oh.
Poisonous.
Now, if there's one thing I know to be poisonous, it's plants.
There are definitely some poisonous plants
All
in the
plants.
world.
Spinach. Ooh.
I'm not sure if there are any poisonous plants in the Journey to Ungoro. But there are some poisonous minions. Also, any of the dinosaurs that can adapt, they can become poisonous. Because poisonous is one of the choices from the adapt keyboard. So it's at least a possibility there.
So I'm curious, of the cards that we have shown today, what's one or two that really excites you to see players actually put into their decks and to fiddle with? Either because you have an expectation of how the metagame might settle, or because you have just an interest in how they play sort of emotionally.
Lots of these cards are pretty interesting. I'm very excited to see how Elise plays out. I think she's a lot of fun to play. She plays a little bit like the old Elise, where you play her in these very long game decks that want to go very, very far into the game. But she's a little bit faster than the old Elise in that her quest is only one step. You just shuffle the pack into your deck and you play it. Drawing those packs is a lot of fun. That's actually, you get that joy of opening the pack in the middle of a game.
I have 35 unopened packs right now, and my stream just can't handle it. Just open the packs, open the packs, open the packs.
Come on, you gotta open the packs.
Open the packs, man, please. And speaking of which, if we can just run that clip again, and maybe I can just get one more attempt to gobble up as much of the visuals as I can of all those cards to just confirm that those were all revealed today. That would be so sick. See, now I'm going to lean real far forward.
This jungle hides many secrets.
Everyone can see the hair's thinning a little bit, but that's fine because cards are more important than vanity.
I hope you like my
These are the sort of things that I don't know if you know this, but I'm especially talented at being the luckiest player in Hearthstone.
So is Elise. It's great.
We did see all of these. Man, that was very sly. That was very well planned.
Yeah, thank you, Elise. She gave us the cards we're going to open. It's great.
Wow, nice.
She actually can give you golden cards, too, out of that. Even if the pack wasn't originally golden.
Oh, really?
Each of the cards are like, about a quarter of them on average will end up being golden.
Fancy.
Which is fun.
I think if there's one card that really stands out to me as one that will be interesting to play with, it would be the Warlock Quest, the discard 6 cards, summon the infinite imp portal, purely because it actually is infinite imps.
It is infinite value. It is literally infinite value.
And as a fan of Shadowform, I love infinite value.
Infinite value is pretty wonderful.
Well, awesome. Is there anything else you can tell us about when we will get more card info? in our greedy card little loving hands.
Yeah, so this is the kickoff. We're starting to reveal more and more cards as time goes on. So starting next week, we're going to start revealing a lot more cards. Next week, tune into the live stream at the Bahamas. We're going to be doing the HCT, the Hearthstone Championship Tournament.
It's not just randomly in the Bahamas. There is the Hearthstone World Championship Tournament happening there as well. So yeah.
Yep. Well, we just wanted some sun, some fun. It's going to be great. And so we're going to be having that stream, and there might be some Journey to Ungoro cards that we're showing off there too.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe that would happen. We'll see. So we're really
It'll
excited
be
about
there.
that.
Yeah.
There might be, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be really cool. We're going to have more cards over the next couple of weeks, and then Journey to Ungoro itself will launch in early April. So we're really excited about that.
So I mean, at that rate, there are less than 135 days between now and early April.
There are.
So that's a few cards a day.
We'll do a few cards a day, and we'll do, like we've done historically, having big events more towards the end where we show a lot of cards.
Cool.
I'm really excited. Journey to Ungoro
Yeah.
has been a passion project for a long time for a lot of people on the team, and we're
one full
really
year.
excited about it.
Hey, congratulations. I look forward to playing it. And of course, after this, I will myself be playing Hearthstone. Now, if you don't know who I am absolutely not the best player out there, but I do try real hard, and I like to make ridiculous decks. So I'm going to be doing some Astral Communion Druid because I just kind of want to do it. So I'm just going to be doing that immediately thereafter.
It's pretty awesome. We're really excited to host you here at Blizzard for that, and we're going to be
Thank you so
kicking the
much for the
stream
invite,
over to
yeah.
that. It's been really great having you here.
Dude, it has been awesome. Front row seat to new cards, and of course, I'll be gobbling them up all next week as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you had a blast. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. It was awesome.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.